Can India's wallet power defeat China's bullet power? To answer this, today we have noted education reformist, innovator, Raman Magsaysay Award winner, Dr. Sonam Wangchuk. Yes, the Phunksuk Wangdu of movie Three Idiots. The real life hero and his campaign Help Me to Change China or his movement Boycott China is trending in India and all over the world. नमस्कार मु मयूरेश स्वागत करुच्ची एनएनएस ओडिया को मिस्टर वांगचुक
Namaste. It's nice to be talking to you. I have special place in my heart for Orissa. I've been there. I met all the bureaucrats in the secretariat and addressed them. Wonderful memories of Orissa.
Corona spreads from Wuhan to all over the world and no other states in China got affected. It implies that the card was played with a strategy to attack the world economy. How important is the Boycott China movement and how is it going to impact China?
So the Boycott China movement is for two reasons. One is that they have been misbehaving with us on the borders for many years, all over the northern India. And particularly in Ladakh, where I live, we have seen it over many decades. They have come in, meter by meter, and now kilometers of our pastures are gone, which is a problem for our shepherds. So we need to give a definite answer to this, and it keeps happening every year. So I thought that this year was the best time because they have many internal problems also because of COVID. Their industry is down, businesses are down, people are angry, there can even be a revolt. And that's why they are picking fights with us so that they keep their own people united. So in such times, while we give a response with bullet power on the border, it is more important, more effective if the citizens all get together and say no to Chinese goods. Because that way we'll be cutting down on the 5 lakh crore rupees that we send to China every year, part of which becomes guns and rockets on the border and kills our soldiers or can. On the other hand, if we further damage economically, then that will hurt them where they really care, because that will not help with their internal situation. That will actually make the internal situation even more volatile. So therefore they'll be forced to come to dialogue table, discussion for peace. So that's why I called the nation to be united and all goods made in China, whether it is hardware in a year, is what I say.
Yes, as you said rightly, software in a week and hardwares in a year. So should India ban exports to China also? As we say, we buy cheap Chinese products and China using our money against us by creating border conflicts and warlike situations. So you would surprised to know we export millions tons of iron ore from this part of the country, which China must be using directly for making of weapons, ships or tanks, etc. What can be the alternatives?
Okay, when we are exporting raw materials, I would say that whether there is a conflict or not, whether China is good or bad, I think we should not generally export raw materials. We should add value to the raw materials, whether in Orissa or rest of India, and export products. So it is a kind of weakness on our part that we are having to export the raw material like iron ore, which even if they don't make guns, chances are they do, they make things of 2,000 rupees for the kilo of ore that we sell for maybe 10 rupees. So we must therefore develop our own country and our own state to use the raw material that we have. And if in the short term we can't do that, then we should have a timeline. But for now, I think, yes, better you have other markets, but exporting is not something I want to get in the ambit of this boycott. But I would definitely say that please put it to better use or export it to better countries. And if at all you have to, then do it well while you have to, but have good plans of putting all of it to use. Now, if my call for boycott China really is effective, suppose it is effective, then there will be need for so much steel products in India itself, because if we ban Chinese products, then we will be making it ourselves. Then all the iron ore of Orissa should be used, will be needed in India itself. That's the day I would like to see.
As you said rightly, so export earns also dollar for our economy. So we look forward to more number of exports to the days to come. So youths of India are more addicted to Chinese apps like TikTok, UC browser, Alibaba, and these apps are burning every Indian pockets. So what will be your message to the youths of Orissa or say India to ban these apps, popular apps?
There are two things. One is we are saying boycott all products made in China. So we don't send money to China, because these apps earn millions of dollars in India itself also, and it all goes to China, which can become guns. So we should have the minimum, care and love for our country, so that we don't do things that helps our enemy. um, Generally, I wouldn't say this. Normally, with normal neighbors, I wouldn't say this. But knowing China, which is misusing and misbehaving with us, we should do that. And they won't even be surprised, because China is a country that understands bans and boycotts. It has already boycotted or banned Twitter, Google, Facebook, and a dozen other apps. So why should we Indians play on their apps and send money there? And secondly, it's not just money, it's also about security. So when you release all your information, China gets to feel the pulse of Indian youth, and they can design anything in future that is to keep India behind, or to instigate, differences and conflicts in India. So it is also dangerous from that point of view, because every business in China is controlled by the government. So from TikTok, government can get all the information. So I appeal to youth in Orissa, Bengal, and the region there to really become soldiers in your own right. Our soldiers here in Ladakh are laying their lives. They are in -20 mountains, fighting or ready to fight. At least you sitting in your homes in the cities can use your clicker or use your mobile and uninstall these apps and send a message to China. So this is also important, to send a message to China. When millions of youth from India uninstall these apps, China gets a message that Indian population is angry. So they have reasons to think that they should make peace with India, because the whole country is upset with them. Now, if we say please boycott China and youth are just playing on it, then China will take our country as a non-serious bunch of people they can do anything with.
Yeah, you rightly said. And now Chinese companies has invested a huge amount in Indian startups. Say, for example, there are a lot of startups, as explained in our episodes already. So, what can be the stepwise strategy to wipe out Chinese dependency to make Atmanirbhar Bharat?
Good point. I think Chinese influence is at many levels. So first and easiest is software and apps. In a week, you can remove everything. Then in a year, I say you remove finished products from your life, made in China, finished products. You can remove them, and especially non-essential. You don't even need them. So you can remove them in a year and not buy new ones of this kind. You don't have to throw them. Then I say in 2 years, you remove every product that has part made in China or raw material made in China. You take 2 years. Then in 3 years, you can also remove from your life, even if they are Indian companies that have investment or other things from China. So if you clarify your mood and your intentions, then these companies will get the time to quickly set things in order. So in 1 year, there'll be other companies in India making the products that will replace the Chinese products. In 2 years, the companies will start looking for other places to get their raw material and their parts. In 3 years, these companies, startups in India, will have time to look for other investors. So we have to be very systematic in this.
So there is another tension is going in the borders of India. Border tension is pounding every day in Ladakh. So Chinese infiltration is also increasing day by day. As we see in the news, अब नहीं होगा तो कब होगा? Do you see any possibilities of war between India and China soon?
Well, war is easy for China because they have bigger presence of military. What is difficult for China is this citizens boycott of China. If our citizens are effective in saying no to Chinese products in a large scale, there will not be war. I can guarantee you there will not be a war because they depend on us and our money for their growth. But if Indian people don't care and they go with business as usual, only the soldiers are left to fight, then there can be war. They will find it very easy to push our soldiers around if it's just left to the soldiers.
So one app is getting popular following TikTok is Zoom. Being education reformist, what do you suggest for these Zoom online classes or corporate meetings or webinars?
Well, I think Zoom is not a Chinese product. It is an American product. It was started by somebody from China who went to America to study and to do business. So we have nothing against Chinese people. We must not make it into a hatred campaign where we hate everybody from China. Chinese people are equally a victim. They are also a victim of the same government regime. So our problem is with the government, which is doing all this with their military, not with Chinese people. Therefore, any Chinese people who are in your city or you meet or have started businesses in other countries, you should love them and be like you are with any other people.
What are the changes also you are doing on your part to boycott China and also encouraging the people of Odisha to do?
I think the same things, that you remove things that are from there and spread the word. What is very important is spread the word. Don't think that you alone can make a difference. I alone in Ladakh cannot make a difference. But if I reach out to 10 million people, 20 million people, and each of those people, like the ones who are listening to this program now, if each of them talk to 10 people, we will be successful. And that's the only way we can show China that India definitely is great. People are united.
Sir, thank you for your valuable time. India is such a country where we are not yet successfully boycott the usage of polythene. So in such case, to boycott China needs a huge individual effort as well.
Yes, but you don't have a war-like situation with polythene. Maybe Indian people need a emergency to act. So here is an emergency at the border. If you don't believe, see how our soldiers are beating each other up, and anytime there can be guns and anytime there can be a nuclear war also. So if you can't act in these circumstances, when will you act? At the same time, I want to say that not only in India, we need to take this movement to the world. So yesterday I launched a call, a message in English on YouTube. I appeal to all your people to send that, forward that to your dear and near ones in other countries, the non-resident Indians, and tell them to spread it, share it in their countries. This way, if this movement grows from India and spreads into these countries, then China definitely we have a huge pressure on it.
Thank you for talking to NNS Odia, and we hope that soon the Indians will understand the fact and they're going to boycott the Chinese product, boycott China in a strong way, and we wish all the success for your campaign. Thank you very much.